Hoggie's beer reviews. Hoggie's beer reviews. What's going on, guys? Welcome back. It's another installment of Hoggie's beer reviews and another legacy beer. At least I consider this a legacy beer. It's from the city of Chicago, so most of you have never seen it or had it or probably even heard about it. Take a look, man. This is a 6-pack of tall cans of old style beer. That's right, old style. And actually, here's an old school can. This is what their regular cans, bottles, logo usually look like. I've had this can for many years. For starters, this 6-pack was sent to me by my man Nick. You know, because I've been wanting to review old style for a long time. I had it once in my life when I got this can, because I used to have a buddy who was from Chicago, and you know, he took a vacation back home, and after, you know, telling me for years about old style, I told him, you better bring some back, and he brought back a 6-pack or whatever. We had a few, and I kept a can. You know, it was his father's favorite beer. He thought it was really good for a, you know, cheap old standard American lager, and when I had it, I agreed. It was smooth, it was simple, but it was pretty good for what it was. So my man Nick was nice enough to send me a 6-pack of the tall cans with the special, you know, Chicago Cubs design on it. And let's just pull one out and take a look at it here. Reason it has the blue can with the Cubs on it, kind of a commemorative thing. It says 1950. Old Style Beer has been an official sponsor of the Chicago Cubs and an enduring part of the Wrigley experience for the past 62 years. From the ballpark to your neighborhood bar, when you enjoy Old Style, you're at home. Old Style, at home in Wrigley. And like I said, this is big in Chicago, but not really anywhere else. Now, this is Heilmann's, or it used to be. It doesn't say it on the new one, but the old can says Heilmann's Old Style Beer. Heilmann's used to be based out of La Crosse, Wisconsin, but they eventually went out of business. They were bought by Stroh's. Stroh's eventually went out of business, and all the brands that Stroh's owned were bought by Pabst. Remember, Pabst doesn't brew any beer anymore. Pabst is basically a marketing company. Pabst owns all the Schlitz beers, Old Style. I think they own Old English and a lot of the malt liquors, and quite a few other beers that don't come to mind right now. And they have them all contract brewed at Miller Coors facilities. So even though this says, and just to double check on the can, no, it says G. Heilmann Brewing, which is actually a Pabst property, which is actually brewed in a Miller Coors facility. So that's that. Now, I'm not going to punch it up on Beer Advocate or Rate Beer, because there is kind of a discrepancy. When Heilmann's was doing Old Style, there's a brewing process called krausening, which is, I think, kind of like an extra 30-day fermentation, something like that. And then I think when Stroh bought it, they stopped krausening, and recently, like in the last couple of years, Pabst started krausening again. This can doesn't say anything about krausening, neither does that one, so I'm not going to mix reviews because I'm sure the recipe somehow was changed from one to the other. Let's just review it as is. So that's it, man. Call this my sacrificial mug, but it also fits 16 ounces nicely. And let's just crack open an Old Style. For everybody in the Midwest, everybody in Chicago, all the Cubs fans out there, hell, I'm sure even the White Sox fans drink this stuff. Let's take a look. Guess I couldn't get it all in there. A lot of head. Very fizzy. Coca-Cola Pop Fizzy head. And this is a light straw color. This is the color of my pee after I drank all 6 of these tall cans. This is what you'd expect from this kind of beer. Old Milwaukee, Schlitz, you know, all those legacy brands. You're gonna get a pale straw fizzy beer. It's par for the course, and that's okay. Because when you're at the ballpark, you don't want to get smashed. You just want liquid refreshment. You know, these are the kind of beers that if you're cutting the grass or working out, playing ball, it's the kind of stuff you want to have. And you know what? It smells mild. And by that I mean it doesn't kind of have that really offensive corn smell, that cooked veggie smell that you get in some of the Budweisers and Busch and Natty and, you know, the cheapo you know, Milwaukee's Best and stuff like that, Keystone. It smells clean, mild but clean. Very subdued. With almost a hint of lime, not lemon. It's leaning a little towards lime. Yeah, cool. So once again, to my buddy Hector, wherever you are now, I hope you're doing good. We lost touch, that was my buddy from Chicago. But to him and everybody in the Shot Town, cheers with some Old Style. Yeah, kind of a really lemony, limey, lemon kind of finish there. Lemongrass, really. You get that lemongrass quality from hops sometimes. But aside from that, yeah, you know what? I wanted to do this as a legacy beer, you know, in that mentality, kind of like the original Schlitz. And I'm glad I did because this is nice. You know, it's probably 5% alcohol by volume or less. You know, it's a yellow fizzy beer, but it's mild. Reminds me almost of tea. And I know that's kind of a bad thing to say when talking about beer, but it has that very mild, drinkable quality. It's carbonated, but not over-carbonated. You know, you can tell it's an adjunct lager, but those nasty adjunct flavors are not in your face. Light, thin body. A little bit kind of that lemony bitterness at the end to kind of clean up and finish. Just a wee bit dry. And holy crap, yeah. I'll tell you what, I must have had that first Old Style back in, I don't know, 02, 03, so say 10 years ago, something like that. And honestly, even though I don't remember what that tasted like, my impression is the same. Simple. Simple, subtle, but tasty and drinkable. For an adjunct lager, for a legacy beer, for kind of a regional, you know, a regional beer that just won't die. Glass full. Glass full for what it is. It's very inoffensive, very smooth, and very drinkable. This, like I said, after working out, after, you know, getting hot and sweaty outside, or to wash down wings and pizza, this will look great with pizza. Yeah. Yeah, see, along those lines, good beer. I can see why it's a favorite in Chicago and why it's so enduring. Old Style. I like it. So once again, to my man Nick, thanks for sending this my way. And to everybody else, if you come across it and you got some pizza or some wings or something, man, try it. You'll like the Old Style. Cheers. Thanks for tuning in, and remember Hoggie's Beer, Facebook, Twitter, Google+, all that good stuff, hoggiesbeer.com. Stay tuned, there's more coming, guys. Take care.